Oh my gosh, yes. So the first session was very profound, especially as I didn't really even know what to expect, and I was completely rested afterward. It's so awesome because the body completely relaxes, but I didn't fall asleep. I was completely conscious. I could feel everything that was happening and going on around me. It's not like I passed out and then I woke up. It was the exact opposite. There was this connection with my body being active and yet rested, and my mind being flushed of unnecessary thoughts and then calmed. And then there was this connection to my spirit. I could feel it. I could feel it fill the room, and I could feel the energy flowing from the source above between Carlos and myself, and just completely peaceful, magical, complete combination, body, mind, soul, because you become one all at the same time. You completely become in tune with all three, and you're conscious of everything that happens. You're completely aware the whole time. I had never had a full Reiki session. Carlos told me it was to pay attention to my body, and it's probably better if you don't know a lot right now. I felt all this energy open up, and I could feel energy flowing through me in parts of experiences that were literally being dug up like old wounds, and then I was envisioning fresh, clean energy cleansing those wounds and then filling it, and as he moved with my energy, and I would feel, my eyes are closed the whole time, and then I would feel where his hands would go, even though he wouldn't be laying his hands on me, over my face with this intense heat, and I felt like I was getting an energetic oil change, and it was very powerful for me. Actually, I do Bikram yoga, and there's certain poses in Bikram yoga where they talk about your chakras and whatnot, and in my heart was one of the centers of my first Reiki session, where I felt emotion come up, and I felt this turning over of old to new, and this particular pose called the camel that I could never do because I felt like my heart was pounding out of my chest. After my first Reiki session with Carlos, I went to Bikram, I was able to do that pose without this, and I knew then that whatever was stuck in my heart chakra was gone, and I've been able to do that pose ever since. And the second session was completely different and yet much more intense. It was intensified, it was thicker. I felt energies leave and fresh energy come, because I thought, okay, am I going to experience what I experienced the first time? And not even close. And it makes sense because we have different things that we deal with at different times, and what was addressed is what purged out of me. And in this session, as his hands would touch the certain points, it was like I couldn't even feel his hands anymore. It just melded in with my own energy, and those points became very, very intensified. And then as his hands would move, they would go cold right away, and then I would feel the heat go to another area, and then he would move and he would go cold, and I felt this really intense, amazing circulation of my cleansing, and I feel so grateful to have what was old gone and what's new back, and it was amazing, and I would absolutely recommend him to anybody a million times over. So yeah, that's how that went. This thought of like having an energetic oil change it's so real. I mean, completely peaceful, completely calm, fresh. It felt like everything was activated, and yet I didn't feel like I had a body at some points. It was like, I know I'm here, I know what's happening, and I would feel the energy move from point to point, and emotions would come up and thoughts would come up, and then they would be calm and they would go away. And I never felt like I wasn't present. I was 100% present. My body was completely active, and yet afterwards I felt like I just had a huge nap or something. It's like I was completely rested afterwards, but during everything was totally conscious.